students, to everybody. Okay, if you remember that in last lecture we have learned about the limit of the function. If there is a function f(x), okay, then here if there is a function f(x), okay, then it has a limit L if x tends to a. That is, here for mod of f(x minus L) less than epsilon, where epsilon is a small positive number, in such a way that mod of x minus a is less than delta, where delta is also a small positive number. That is, difference between x minus a is very small, as well as difference between fx minus a is also very small or negligible, but fx is never equal to L. There is always a small difference between them. So this is about definition of the limit, and we write it as limit x tends to a of fx is equal to L. And this limit is exist if and only if the left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. So let us verify how to determine that the left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, and when we say that the limit will be exist. For that purpose, let us have one example here. If fx is equal to, this is of the function type, this is a linear function, quadratic one. Here if x is less than 1, and here if x is greater than or equal to 1. That is, here we have to take the limit of the function at x is equal to 1. Now here x takes values less than 1, means it should be a left hand limit, and here x takes values greater than or equal to 1, therefore it should be a right hand side limit. So in our first case, that is for here left hand limit, we have to take the value or definition of the limit in this way: of fx is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus of fx, that is 3x plus 1. Now here how could we write it? Here we can write the limit in such a way that, if you remember that I have told you limit of the function at a point. At a point means what? If we write the limit at x tends to a, okay, then at x is equal to a, the function of the limit, if it exists, then we write it as f of a. Okay, so here now there is the function in linear form, means it is not of this type. Which type? P of x upon q of x. Remember this one. The function is not of this form, that this form is, rational form. Function is not of rational type. Therefore here we have to consider only about this function. Since there is no numerator and denominator, therefore there is not question about what will be the value of the denominator. We will see later what is its meaning and condition. Since it is a linear function, we can directly apply the value, but before that we have to again write the function in this way. This negative sign is only mentioned for the limit is a left hand side limit. There is not a role of negative sign in the function at all. So here if we mention that the function is a left hand side limit, then we can write only limit x tends to 1, 3x plus 1, and here we can take limit as, here substitute the value of x 1 plus 1, and here 3 into 1 3 plus 1, that is 4. Okay, so this is our left hand side limit. isn't it? Left hand side limit. Say it is equation number 1. Now let us have here the second part of the function. Which is that part? Here let us see. The second part is fx is equal to 7x square minus 3 if x is greater than or equal to 1. That is, x takes values greater than 1. Means here we have to define the right hand limit, isn't it? So in this case, how we will define it? Limit x tends to a plus of fx is equal to limit x tends to a plus, but here a is what? That is x tends to 1 plus of fx, and what is your fx? 7x square minus 3. So is equal to limit x tends. Now here there is no need to write again and again this plus sign. Here it is only for mentioning that the limit is a right hand limit. When it get cleared, then there is not necessary or no need to write it again and again. We can simply write limit x tends to 1 only. Okay, x square minus 3. Again it is a quadratic function, it has no denominator, therefore we can directly apply the limit in such a way that here substituting the value of x minus 3, take in account this one. So 7, 1 minus 3, that is 7 minus 3, that is 4, that is limit x tends to 1 plus of x is equal to 4. So say it is equation number 2, isn't it? Therefore here from equation first and from equation second we can conclude that, what we can conclude here? We can conclude that limit x tends to 1 plus of x is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus of x is equal to 4. That is, our right hand side limit is equal to left hand side limit is equal to 4. Means what? Our left hand side limit and right hand side limit are exist and they are equal. Therefore we can say that the limit of the given function exists at x is equal to 1, isn't it? Therefore our definition get satisfied here. Now from this example we can state that here, or if you want this as it is, here we can write limit if the function is defined at a point only, then we can write limit x tends to a of fx, limit x tends to a of fx, limit x tends to a plus of fx. Okay, so try to understand this one. This is not so difficult, it is so easy. When you get that, then it will be you will get that it is so. Okay, now here let us see the another part. What is that part? That is algebra of limits. Now as we know that we have learned from second, third, fourth standard, if numbers are there, just like natural numbers, integers, rationals, then we see algebra of these numbers. Algebra means what? Addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, isn't it? So here can we define the algebra of these functions, that is limit? If there is limit of the function given, then can we algebra? So here algebra of limits. Now to define the algebra, that is for subtraction, we need at least two functions. Okay, and their functions we have to consider in such a way that their limit get exist. Okay, so here let us have two functions, f(x) and g of x. Okay, and let us consider that their limit exists at x is equal to a, that is limit extends to a and limit extends to a, g of x is equal to g of a. Okay, or here you can consider in this way, or if their limit is say L and M, we can consider another letter also here. Then what about their addition and subtraction? So here our first thing is that addition and subtraction, but before that one, addition. So if we take limit of the function, that is here addition of f(x) plus g of x, then it is same as limit addition of their limits, addition of their limits, that is what we can take separate addition in this way. Let us see again here. If we take limit of addition of these two functions, then it is same as addition of their limits. Means if we take first addition and we apply limit on it, it is same as if we take the separate limits and then take their addition, we get the same value. Here in place of addition, if we have subtraction, then also we get the same result. That is, if we take limit of subtraction of two functions, then it is same as subtraction of their limits. Then it is same as subtraction of their limits, that is in this way. Okay, and here the limits are what? You know that one is equal to L plus M. Here L minus M. So it is very easy, just like the numbers, that is algebraic numbers. Now here if there is multiplication of the two functions, okay, then again we can separate the functions in such a way that limit extends to a of f(x) into g of x is equal to limit extends to a of f(x), okay, that is c. Limit of product of two functions is same as product of their limits. Okay, in this way. So it is so easy to understand. There is nothing to worry. That is, there is not a thing which is difficult to understand or to capture. Only we have to separate the functions to take their limits. Okay, and if it is possible that take their multiplication and then apply limit, then also you can follow this one. We get the same answer. Now here the third rule here, but in your fourth rule, but in book given third rule, if there is any constant, okay, which is a multiple, scalar multiple of the function, limit is same as x tends to a, in such a way that k is a constant which is a multiple of this function f x. K is any constant means what? It is any real number. It may be 1, it may be 2, or minus 3, minus 4, or 1 by 5, 2 by 7, or minus 100, whatever it may be. Then limit does not affect this constant, or this constant does not affect the limit, vice versa. We can take in any way. Okay, here we can take this k outside the limit, and inside the bracket we can take limit of the function f(x) only. Means what? We can say, or we can mention, or we can conclude one thing here. If x is there, then only we have to consider the limit. If there is no x involved, then we can take outside the limit that value, whatever it may be, isn't it? But if it contains that variable, then we have to think about that variable, isn't it? That is, whenever we are taking the limit, then we have to take in account that one. But if there is now let us see for question form, that is for rational form, that is if the function is expressed as division of the two polynomials or two functions. Okay, this form is called as rational form or question form. Okay, now here in this case we have to think about this gx, but let us see first how to apply the limit. Here again we can apply the limit separately for the numerator, okay, and for the denominator in this way. Okay, and what is this limit? We know that this limit is equal to L and the limit of the denominator is equal to M. We have already mentioned it. These limits exist and these are L and M respectively. But here what should be the condition? That is, limit of the denominator should not be equal to 0. That is, if this limit exist and is equal to 0, then our function reaches in not defined form, and we do not want to this one. So here we have to take in account, or first we have to verify that this limit of the denominator should not be equal to 0. That is, here limit x tends to a of g of x is not be equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, then the limit of the original function does not get exist. Okay, it remains undefined, and we do not want to this one. We want to define the function, but there are different criteria for removing this condition, or whatever the situation may be there, which reduces this function to 0, this limit to 0. We will see later whenever we will solve the examples, but only remember that it should be free from 0, that is, m should not be equal to 0, that is, limit x tends to a, g of x should not be equal to 0. So this is about the algebra of the limit. Okay, what is that algebra? That is, see, limit of x tends to a f(x) plus g of x is same as limit x tends to a f(x) plus limit x tends to a g of x. Okay, that is we can take separate limit. In subtraction again same, we can take separate limit. In multiplication again, we can or we have to take in some situations after separation only we can find out the limit of the function. And this is very important one, that is the constant can be taken out outside the limit of the function, that is equal to k into limit extends to a of f(x), whatever be that constant. Okay, if it should not contain x, then it should be considered as a constant only, whatever it may be. Remember this one. Now the last form is that limit extends to a f(x) upon g of x is equal to, again we can take limit of the numerator and limit of the denominator separately, but we have to take in account that it should be, the limit of denominator should be not equal to 0. Now here there are some rules, or we can say that properties are given here for the limit, okay, or according to the above results, and which are very necessary, these limits, whenever we will solve the examples, which are very easy and very important also. So let us see here. Limit extends to a of k is equal to k. Why? I have told you, if there is no x, then this limit does not affect that value, and k does not contain x, it is a constant, therefore the limit does not affect k. So applying limit, again we get k, same answer. But here in second one we have what we have, limit extends to a of x. Since there is a variable, therefore obviously this limit affect this one and is equal to, and since this is only a plain value x only there, so we can directly apply the limit and is equal to get a, that is extends to a, therefore we write here x is equal to a. Remember this one. Now our second rule is that for the power function, that is if there is a variable, okay, if there is a variable, see here, our first note is that for constant function, if we are taking limit of the function at x is equal to a, but here the function takes value k which is constant, then we get k. For example, limit extends to 2 of 3 is equal to 3 only, because this is a constant value and hence this limit does not affect this. Whatever be here, our answer remains 3 only. If we have limit extends to a, if we have limit extends to 1, if we have limit extends to 5, but our answer remains same, that is what, 3 only. Now if the second property is that limit extends to a of x is equal to what, a, that is this x is replaced by this a. For example, if we have limit extends to 1 and here we have x, then is equal to what, 1, this x is equal to 1. Our third result is that for power function, limit extends to a of x raised to n. Again here x occurs, n is constant regarding to this limit, so only replace this x by this a, that is what, the limit is then becomes a raised to n. For example, here limit extends to 2 and here if we have x square, then we have to write 2 square, and that is what, 4. Okay, and you can take many examples with your own way and try to prove this or verify this one. And the last one is that here this result, and the fourth one is that limit extends to a and in nth root, if we have nth root, then is equal to also nth root of a. For example, if we have for this one, here let us have one example for this one. For this result, limit x tends to 2 of root x, okay, then is equal to, we can write what, 2 root 2, or it can be written as 2 raised to half, okay. For example, one more example, limit x tends to 3, and here if we have 3 cube root, okay, it's a 4, here we can take 4 also, okay, therefore here we can write in cube root of 4, cube root of 4, or the same value can be stated as 4 raised to 1 by 3. So these are the functions, or you can see there, here we can apply in this way also. And the last one is that if p of x is a polynomial, then limit x tends to, here see, p of x is a polynomial, then limit x tends to a, p of x is equal to p of a. Means what? If you remember that just we have solved one example, that if that is polynomial means what? If here p of x is fx is equal to say 2x plus 3, it is a polynomial, it is also one of the polynomial, but it is in linear form, then limit x tends to a of e of x is equal to limit x tends to a, what is your e of x? 2x plus 3. You can take any value for this a, 2, 3, 1, minus 2, whatever it may be. Then we can write here 2 into a plus 3, that is what? Twice a plus 3. Now it becomes the function of a, and here we can write f of a, that is what? If we take limit x tends to a of f x, then we can write is equal to f of a. Get it? That is if p of rather than p of x, here I write f x polynomial, then after taking limit it becomes f of a in this way. How it is? In this way, and you can verify this one. Since there is no denominator, therefore we are not talking about this one, but if there is denominator, then we have to consider about that denominator also, but we will see later or in the upcoming lectures what will be there if the denominator is there, and if it becomes 0 after taking limit, then what we have to do. So see you in the next lecture. So have a grateful day.